Ready. Play.
Elena Rybakina is the Stuttgart champion, coming through an absolutely stacked draw, taking down Iga Swiatek in the semi-finals, who was undefeated at this tournament, obviously Queen of Clay right now. I said pre-tournament that she was a threat for the title. If you go back and watch the last episode, we were looking at it like, oh, Rybakina's got a good shot here. And proved to be the case. I do think there were people who were kind of sleeping on her a little bit this tournament, and she's kind of come in and proved too good for everyone else.
Yeah, she had to win all of her matches except for the final in 3 sets, so she had a tough time. But she beat like some really good players on the way, including obviously Iga Swiatek.
But yeah, fantastic run, and like the final was just the icing on the cake with the way that she dominated. I guess there's been a bit of discourse on Twitter at the minute because you mentioned obviously she won everything except the final in 3 sets. Does Rybakina have a 3-set problem? Does she leak sets, or were these genuinely tough opponents?
Kudermetova, you can see this obviously. Swiatek also very much obviously. She was even like not the favorite for that match, so it would have been doubly surprising if she had won in straight sets. Paulini's like maybe she's been having such a really good season so far, right? So you could expect like 7-5. It's a top set, like it was a hard battle. I don't think she has a 3-set problem per se. I think that all of those matches she's won the first set, so I think that she's at least like a good. She's able to, at least when she wins the first set, to be able to like get back together and like win in the decider. When she falls behind the set, I think it's a little bit more different. But I guess like everybody on tour is not necessarily like a over 50% winner on coming from a set behind. So yeah, I mean, I won't say that she leaks sets, but yeah, surprisingly, as good as her serve is, maybe I would say she drops more sets than I would say she should have. But I don't know. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I think it depends on each match.
Yeah.
I think this question was prompted by some conversation I had on Twitter with a few different people. So let's do with each match, these Stuttgart matches. As Jean is pointing out rightly, something I was going to say was she's not lost a decider since losing to Blinkova in Australia. It's like since the Australian Open loss, she's kind of locked down and gone, I'm never losing another deciding set. The Kudermetova match, she did drop her level in set 2. The Paolini match, Paolini fought back and made it a contest, and actually it was a early breakup in the third, before Rybakina kind of stomped on it. But like Paolini was able to kind of absorb and redirect a little bit in the second set and just keep herself in it. Swiatek is Swiatek, and was always in the mix, and it was a super close match, and it deserved to go 3. I think she's only really gotten to 3-set battles since she came back from illness in Miami. Before that, she was really efficiently, for the most part, getting 3 matches. So I think there's a certain level of recovery here playing a part. That being said, given the way the Kostyuk final went, and I do wonder whether some of that was to do with Kostyuk's energy levels, maybe that Swiatek win is going to be a massive confidence booster for her, and this will become less frequent.
Yeah, and yeah, I think she's kind of growing a little bit, like after like as you said, like there was like some problems with illnesses before, and that's not new even in her career. But I think she's kind of growing into like this person who's especially as you said, like after the Blinkova match, she's been kind of like learning how to win those matches and learning how to win those tough encounters, and just kind of pull her level up in the deciding sets. So I think that's kind of something that Yeah, it's good to see. I think it's she always had that in her. I think surprisingly, I think she's been showing a lot more emotion on court. I'm not exactly sure like what is it like. Maybe she was actually shy of showing emotion before, but now I just kind of see it when she's frustrated. I've been noticing that a lot more, like hearing more commands, like whereas like before, like she was ice queen for a reason. Not that she isn't anymore, but I feel like there's something more coming out of her, and I think this may be part of her just kind of like learning how to be in the
There
in those situations.
was definitely some more emotional volatility in Miami.
Hmm.
I think Stuttgart, she kind of locked that back down. Like that Swiatek match, she wasn't particularly vocal, actually.
Yeah.
She kind of just got on with it. But yeah, you're right. There has been more signs of it. But I think the Ice Queen approach isn't going to entirely go away, as you've said. Is she underrated on clay?
I think so. I think that's like a problem that big servers have. Like big flat hitters, they just are associated with fast courts. So they're normally necessarily seen as the contenders on clay, especially because on clay those weapons are more easily circumvented. Like players can find more ways to combat these issues. But she's been moving really well. I think she's complete on all both wings, like the backhand and the forehand. She's not like a servant volleyer, so it's definitely makes it even the comparison like not necessarily as true anymore. I think she's underrated, but I would say mostly because other players have reached the finals at Roland Garros, where she has not. So, or have been played really great matches there. Like I think Sabalenka also might be a little underrated on clay, even though not as much as I would say Rybakina. But it's also probably a product of like just the fact that Swiatek is just so far ahead in terms of at least like a achievement on clay that we just tend to like look at everybody as like a huge underdog. So I think the fact that she's beaten Swiatek this tournament leads us to ask this question, because if Swiatek had either not played or lost to someone else, we might be having a different discussion about this right now.
Yeah, that is very true. Although actually, I still ask the question because the Swiatek defeat does do well. The Swiatek victory for Rybakina does put a massive sort of point in her favor of her being a clay court player. Don't forget she won Rome, pushed Swiatek. I mean, I will bang on this forever. I believe Swiatek would have still won that match that she retired from, but she was really being pushed by Rybakina in that quarterfinal in Rome last year, and Rybakina deservedly won the title when Swiatek dropped out. She is a French Open quarterfinalist and very narrowly missed out on the 2021 semis. If she had, she could well have made the final. I think was it Pavlyuchenkova she lost to, or was it Zidansek? I think it was Pavlyuchenkova she lost to because she beat Serena Williams in the previous round, Rybakina, and that was a really good match. And then, yeah, I think it was Pavlyuchenkova she lost to in the quarters. But that fight, if things had gone a little bit different way, closer match, she could have been playing Krejcikova in that final. We would have been saying very different things about her. And her first WTA title was on clay. So, yeah, I think that a lot of these things get overlooked because, as you say, her strengths are the serve and the power, and that often gets neutralized a little bit on clay, but they're still factors. The thing that's kind of towering over everyone is the Swiatek factor. And, well, we've seen that Rybakina doesn't necessarily fear Swiatek.
Yeah, I think that this match really comes to prove that. And honestly, like I feel like a big serve and a big forehand go well on any surface, like not just, especially like if you want to go into like the homogenization of like surfaces and whatnot. So maybe it's a little easier nowadays to like make it like be as effective on hard as it is on clay. But yeah, I feel like even still, like case in point, Swiatek is better on clay than she is on grass. So there is a difference on surfaces, and even still, like nowadays, the pros would know those differences better than the amateurs. But I think that Rybakina is not a bad mover. She's not like a awkward mover. She especially on the forehand side, like going on the cross court when she's pushed, she has an extremely good technique that she allows her to, even vary some of her shots as well. She's not just like a flat hitter. She sometimes adds some spin. She can get into those moon ball contests sometimes if she needs to. It's not that she's just that power, but she does have it available to her, which makes it very easy, makes it very convenient, I would say, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, do not rule Elena Rybakina out.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.